Alright, today's lesson is Chapter 11, Lesson 2, Ordering Integers. I did not make a lesson or a video for Lesson 1 because there really wasn't a lot in it, and most of it was common sense. So I'm going to go over that stuff first. The first thing you need to know, an integer is any whole number, and that can be positive or negative. And oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear it. They are in a full-out brawl. Bella and Bean are going at each other. Bean! She is not letting up. I think she's gonna... Bella's scurrying away. Bean's getting locked in the back room. You're gonna think about what you did, Bean. She'll learn her lesson. Who am I kidding? She's not gonna learn her lesson. Where was I at? Integers. Okay. So it can be whole numbers, positive or negative. The other thing you need to know is opposites. So a number's opposite is basically, for example, if you have the number 2, the number's opposite is negative 2. If you have negative 3, its opposite is 3. Pretty much all that means is if you have a number line and you have 5, oops, that doesn't look like a 5, that looks like a 6. If you have a 5 on your number line, its opposite would be on the opposite side of 0. So you're 5 away on this side, so you'd have to be 5 away on this side, which would give you negative 5. So, those are a couple quick things about the last lesson. Now, what we are going to learn this time is how to order integers. So, we're going to take these 4 integers, negative 5, 3, negative 2, and 0, and we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. I'm going to show you one way to do it, and then I'm going to show you a couple ways you can think about it to help you out. So, what we can do is we can start with a number line. Number lines always work to figure out what's bigger, what's smaller. They work with pretty much anything. So, if we are, one thing we could do is we could put these on a number line. And remember, on a number line, the further it goes to the right, the bigger it is. And the further it goes to the left, the smaller, right? So, let's start out with negative 5. Let's graph negative 5. That's going to go, we're at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Then we're going to put 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Negative 2. 1, 2. And 0. Well, 0 is right here. We already have that. So, if we put them in least to greatest, you can see, since the farther left we go, the smaller it is, and the farther right, the bigger it is, the order that we're going to put those in becomes negative 5, negative 2, 0, and 3. Another way you can think about it is, if you're going from least to greatest, if you're just talking in degrees, which one of those would be coldest? Well, the coldest would be negative 5 degrees. And then negative 2, and then 0. So, and then 3. Another way you can think about it is when you go into negative, like if we said minus 5, that would be like if you owe someone $5. Well, which one would you rather do? Would you rather owe someone $5? Or would you rather owe someone $2? You'd rather owe someone $2 because that means if you owe someone $2, that's still better than owing someone $5. If you owe someone $5, that means you have less money than the other one. So in class, if students are getting messed up, I say, well, like on negative 2 and negative 5, I would say, which one do you have less money? If you owe someone $5 or if you only owe someone $2? And they would say, well, if you owed someone $5, that means you have less money. And same thing with temperature. Which one's colder? Negative 5 or negative 2? Well, negative 5 would be colder. So that's another way to think about it. So let's take a look at another example. What if we have negative 22, negative 8, negative 36, and 9? Okay, let's put those from least to greatest. Why don't you pause and practice? Okay, so we can think about it as far as a number line if we want. If we were putting these numbers, which number would go the furthest to the left? Well, if we put, let's see, if we put the 9 there, let's see, which one else is close to 0? Well, 8 is close to 0, that'd be like over here. If we did negative 22, that'd be like over here. And negative 36, that's got to be the furthest over there because it's the furthest from 0. Because negative 36 is 36 away from 0. And negative 22 is only 22 away from 0. So, there's our order for us. Negative 36 would be the smallest. Negative 22, negative 8, and then 9. One way you can think about it is which one is once you get into negatives, it's basically the opposite. The number that looks the biggest, like 36 is the biggest digit, but since it's negative, it's actually going to be the smallest. So once you go into the negatives, it's kind of the opposite. Like 22, I mean that's looks like a bigger number than 8, and since they're both negative, 22 is going to be further from 0 than 8, so it's a smaller number. Okay, let's try another one. Alright, we have negative 5, negative 9, negative 4, and negative 2. I want you to pause and solve. Okay, the smallest number is going to be the one that's negative, that is furthest from 0, which is going to be negative 9. Then, negative 5, because remember, when we're in the negatives, we're kind of going the opposite way. Then negative 4, then negative 2. Okay, here's a more challenging one. We're going to use some decimals here. Negative 3.5, negative 3.7, negative 3. Okay, now this one I want you to pause and solve. Okay, now this one, it would help us if we made our number line. If we made our number line and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, our negative 3 would be 1, 2, would be right there. Our negative 3.5 would be right in the middle. That's an ugly 5. And 3.7, well 3.7 would actually be further. So 3.7, that's the furthest away from 0, so that's going to be our smallest number. And then 3.5, and then 3. Okay, we're going to do one more here. This one's going to be a little longer, but I want you to solve it for tomorrow. Okay, this is what I want you to solve for tomorrow. The numbers are negative 31, negative 14, negative 30, negative 15, negative 45, and negative 37. I want you to put those from least to greatest for tomorrow, or whenever you have math next. Oops. Alright. So, I'll make sure that I let Bean out, and maybe she will have learned her lesson. If you solve that problem, come to math tomorrow with a good attitude, and see you later.